Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again. It's Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAhmadiyyah on Instagram and divine_goddess_27. Brighton, Patreon, and melanated people at Queen Ahmadiyyah, and also on Twitter at DGoddess27. This is just going to be a brief live. I just want to give you all a few tips after that ghastly video that we just saw in the other live, right? No less. Clearly appealing to the low chakra in all of us, right? So let's talk about it, people. Let's talk about it. Because you see, we have to be able to rise above all the chaos, right? From all the pandemonium, that low vibrational stuff. We have to rise above that and get it to your divine and your higher self, your spiritual self. And with that all being said, you have to keep those chakras balanced. And if you missed the video that I did a month or so ago about, balancing your chakras, make sure you check that out. Also, don't forget to watch the video about the matrix where I break it all down and make it all make sense. Okay? LeVar says, Queen, I got my crystal bracelet, and when I put that on, all my energy just left and felt faint. That shite ain't no joke. Absolutely, beloved. Absolutely. This is true. Thank you for your insight and for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Let me say this. Absolutely, LeVar. I remember when I bought my first crystal, which was an amethyst because that's my birthstone. On the ride home, I was holding it in my left hand, and all of a sudden I just started yawning, started getting so tired, like the energy was just draining out of me, right? But the crystals absorb energy. They absorb energy. And so when you are holding them, working with them and those things, they absorb your energy. That's why when you first purchase them, it's very important that you cleanse them, because you never know who touched them or picked them up while they were in the store, right? And you don't want somebody with negative, nasty energy. You don't want their satanic energy, absorbed in you or around you or in, corrupting your environment. So you want to always cleanse your crystals. Okay. And I think I told you all how to cleanse them on another video when I specifically spoke about the crystals. So make sure you check that out if you have questions about that. Okay. Did you guys hear about human rabies? Human rabies? No, beloved. I never not wear mine. Thank you, Queen. You're welcome, beloved. Absolutely. Hello, Queen. Sorry I missed the live. I watched the replay. That's okay, beloved. That's okay. So, Queen, where's the best place to get crystals? Well, beloved, now that depends on where you live. I would suggest going to a metaphysical store. Now, whatever state that you live in, you can likely Google places in the area to see where they sell stones and crystals. It's usually like a metaphysical store where they not only sell crystals, they tend to sell things like Tibetan bongs, singing bowls, books on working with crystals. They may sell tarot cards, which I don't use, by the way, but they have these things in there. They sell tapestry, with like the yoga things on there, or the chakras and all of that stuff. Just anywhere where you can buy sage and stuff like that, right? You likely can find crystals. So you probably want to look it up in the state that you live in, okay? They usually have numerous places where you can purchase these things. And in some states, they actually have these places where you can go and you pay like a few dollars to get in, I think, and then you go and you can actually dig for crystals. They literally have crystals there, sites where you can go in and dig for the crystals, and whatever crystals you find, I do believe you can keep. All right. Now, I've never been to one of those places, but I hear they have them, right? And actually, I did go to one of those places once. It was in a place called Nashville, Indiana, which I had never heard of. But I went to Kentucky to visit my siblings, and my brother took me there as a surprise because he knows that I love crystals. And honey, that was the best place ever. They had this little bed and breakfast, and they had nothing but little shops there, right? And all of the shops sold metaphysical things and natural herbs and, natural soaps and all that stuff and all these essential oils, all types of crystals. And they had a little place where you could take like a little, it was like a colander almost. It was like a little thing with holes in the bottom, and you could dip it in the water and pick it up and shake it. and it had like different types of rocks and crystals in there. It was really nice. I had a great time. Okay, so you can find places like that. And then sometimes there are people who are really into the stones and crystals, and they actually have like these events certain times in the year. I know in Kentucky they have one in October, I believe, every year. I think they still have it, but they have like a big event where all these different people who sell stones and crystals just come, and they all meet up, and they have like this big event where you can come there and you can just, they have so many selections. Okay, they have so many selections. You can come there and pick out, you know, and buy whatever you like. So I would suggest you just Google, because they also sell them online. They sell them online, but see me, I don't like to purchase mine online because it's not personal enough for me. I like to be able to go there, walk in the place, and look at the crystals, and the crystals call to me. Like the crystals are literally called to me, right? And so that's what I like, because the crystals will attract you to them. Okay? They'll let you know which ones to pick. That's how it is for me. So that's why I like to be there where I can actually see the crystals. Okay? And so some people order them online. If you don't have a place in your state or city where you can just go and purchase them yourself, just walk in, you can always order them online. They have many places online where you can buy them. Okay? Pam said, where in Kentucky? In Louisville, beloved, the Ville. All right? That's where I was raised. Okay? It's hard for me to trust ordering anything offline. Well, dark-skinned brother, I can't blame you for that, beloved. But a lot of the places online that sell these crystals, they're very reputable places. You just have to make sure you get one that's reputable. You know, you don't want to go somewhere where they're going to be giving you some plastic crystals, right? It's fake stuff. But there's some reputable places. All you have to do is just, you know, just do a little research, you know, check the reviews, talk to the people there. They usually know what they're talking about, okay? Fight for Black said, yes, that's what I'm expecting. Okay. All right. So let's get into it, people. Here's the thing. I want to talk to you about, you know, I talked to you numerous of times about raising your vibrational frequency, you know, how you have to rise above the chaos, you know, in order to rise into your higher self and stop being low vibrational or allowing people to suck you dry, you know, the energy vampires, as I call them, or the psyche vampires. You want to keep yourself elevated to a higher level. The best way to do that, aside from eating a good, balanced, healthy diet, plant-based, I prefer, but hey, so is to, in fact, meditate. Now, some people just don't realize the importance of meditation. And then some people say, well, I don't have time to meditate. Let me tell you something. Do you realize that people actually meditate when they pray? When you pray, you are actually meditating. Did you ever think about that? When you meditate, you sit there quietly, you just relaxing your mind, really not thinking about lots of things, the chaos that's going on in the world or whatever. And you're manifesting, you're trying to manifest things to yourself, right? Well, you do just about the same thing when you pray. Can't hear you, Queen. I don't know what's going on, beloved. I don't know. Maybe check your device. Check your device. Sorry. Check your device, beloved, or refresh your page. Try to refresh, okay? So with that all being said, it's almost the same thing, right? And so meditation is very important because you see, a lot of us, if you're like me, I have a very active brain. I don't have to sleep 8 hours a night like some people. You know, I've always been able to get by with like sleeping 4 to 5 hours, 6 at the most, right? But not even 6 on a regular, but I'm just saying at the most. But usually I can sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night and just wake up just like that and just be, you know, ready to go. And I was told by a professor once when I was in college that that's because I have a very active brain. Some people's brains just don't need much rest. They're just always thinking thoughts and always working on something, always focusing on something, right? But when you want to quiet the mind, it's always a good idea to meditate. And I like to meditate with stones and crystals. I usually put a stone or crystal on my third eye, right? On my third eye. And then I put like a headband or something around it to hold it in place. And I lie there and I meditate quietly. You may do some chanting when you meditate. You may listen to meditative sounds and music. I like to even sleep, as I told you numerous of times, with Native American flute music. Sometimes I'll switch it up and just listen to some regular meditative music, or maybe I'll make a recording of myself saying positive affirmations for myself. And I listen to that with the meditative music while I sleep. And I cannot tell you how much of a restful, peaceful sleep that I have when I do that. Do you take naps, Queen? Of course I do, beloved. I take naps every now and then, but most of the time I don't have time to take naps. I don't have time, but I do take naps every now and then. For example, if I stay up to like 4 in the morning researching, because I often do, sometimes I do, right? If I'm staying up to like 4 in the morning, you know, researching and things like that or whatever, and then I have to get up early, well, sometimes maybe around mid-evening I might take a nap. But it's always a cat nap, okay? Like a 30-minute nap, right? So with that all being said, let's talk about the sacral chakra, because that video that I showed you on the last broadcast, well, that video was clearly trying to appeal to the sacral chakra. It's true. The sacral chakra. So let's talk about it. And I took some notes. I didn't do the PowerPoints. You know, I didn't have time because I came right after the last live. You know, usually I like to do a PowerPoint so you all can, you know, not only listen to it, but you can see it for yourself. When you go back, you can read the information for yourself. Sometimes visuals are more likely to make you remember things, right? But I didn't have time for a PowerPoint today, so I just have my notes from when I taught a class on this. So we're going to talk about it. There's 6 ways to balance your sacral chakra. Okay, the sacral chakra, or the Swadhisthana, as some call it, right? It's also called. Now, this chakra, it usually forms between the ages of 8 to 14, right when you're starting to develop and get a sense of self, okay? It's okay, Queen. It's your show, says Judah Queen. I need help with my root chakra, Queen. The root chakra is very important because that is the chakra that aligns with your security, you know, your safety and things like that, and survival. So you want to keep the root chakra balanced. So we'll talk about that. And like I said, if you missed the broadcast that I did where I was talking about chakras, go back on and watch that, because I did talk about the root chakra on there as well. I went through all of the chakras one by one, told you how to balance them and things like that. So, and how to align them and all of those things. So watch that video, beloved, and that will help you out immensely, I'm sure. So here's the thing. If your sacral chakra is off balance, right? If it needs a healing, you should be working with the color orange, right? Which is the color that that chakra is represented by. You want to work with the color orange. You want to eat orange things like oranges, tangerines, sweet potatoes, right? Carrots, things like that. This is what you want to do. And you want to work with crystals that have that color. If you work with crystals, you know, tiger eye, because you would use orange and brown. Tiger eyes, they're brown. They have cornelian, which is good for the kidneys. That's the stone or crystal that people use when they want to work on their kidneys and things like that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice, but I am, however, a shaman. And my ancestors worked a lot with crystals, and that's why I work with crystals, and that's why I burn sage and do smudging rituals and all of those things. So with that all being said, you want to work with tiger's eyes or cornelian. This is a tiger eye. This bracelet right here, if you can see that. That's tiger eye stone, right? I have some cornelian earrings that I made. I don't have those on right now, but those are some of the stones that you want to work with. You know, orange stones, because these, and you can use these in your chakra rituals when you're trying to balance your chakras, and when you're trying to especially work on healing the sacral chakra. And like I said, you want to eat foods that also bring the sacral chakra into alignments, okay? So let me tell you some of the things you want to eat other than the sweet potatoes. Thank you, Danny, for your super sticker, beloved. Thanks for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings to you. So you want to eat like nuts and seeds, sweet potato, carrots, like I told you, melons, mangoes, pumpkin, right? Orange and citrus fruits, tangerines, fermented foods, okay? And you want to be drinking lots of purified spring or distilled water. Now, another thing is you can do some yoga positions. You know, some hip opening stretches, right? You want to do some stretches. Make sure you're stretching because you get all stiff and tense. But you want to do some yoga to help align the sacral chakra, really to help align all of them. But if you're specifically talking about the sacral chakra, see, here's the thing. when you watch these videos like the one we just saw, they're trying to appeal to your lower chakras, okay? Because as we know, the body parts connected to the sacral chakra are what? What's the main things that we think about? We think about the sacral chakra. It's right below the belly button, right? It's right below the belly button. So your genitalia is connected to that, okay? And it is the first chakra that has a front and back, right? Because you see, the root chakra points downward. It has no front and back. It just points downward. But the sacral chakra is the first chakra that has a front and a back, all right? This is all new to me. Thank you. You're welcome, beloved. Tanya. Kayla says, darn, I didn't know you were live. Did you miss the last broadcast, beloved? If you missed your daily vitamins, that's why you didn't know that the spiritual vitamins was coming up next. Same on you. Queen, will you ever start a meditation channel? Yes, beloved. I'm so glad you said that. You know, I have been talking about doing that for the past month, and I keep getting sidetracked. And since you brought it up, I was just thinking about it again today. I'm definitely going to do that, beloved, okay? Favorable child says, dropping jewels. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so you want to do some yoga to get this in an alignment, right? Because if your chakras are off balance, it throws you off balance, right? It makes you, sometimes you have low vibrational feelings and thoughts, may feel depressed, just uneasy, can't get right, and all of those things. So you can sit in a seated position with the soles of your feet together. Clasp your hands around your feet. Gently bring your chest forward until you feel that you have a stretch in your back. Like you feel your back actually stretching, like lean forward, right? You can do some of those things. Hold the position for a few seconds and inhale, all right? Then exhale. Try to do it at least 30 seconds. Now, you can also do a chakra balancing meditation. Now, it's always good to meditate. Like I tell you, meditation is one of the best things that you can do to keep yourself spiritually in tune with the Most High, with nature, and with the universe. Meditation is good. If you don't have a lot of time, you can meditate for 10 minutes a day. You can meditate when you rise in the morning. You can meditate before you lie down to rest at night. Listen to meditative sounds and tones rather than listening to rap, R&B and all of that stuff. When you go to lunch break at work and you're sitting out in your car and you're eating your lunch, or you're off in the break room, you have your headphones on, instead of listening to the hip hop and all of that stuff, instead of listening to Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and Juvenile with that foolishness, put on some meditative music and listen to that as you relax and eat your lunch. I guarantee you will feel a whole lot different than you do when you listen to the other frequencies of music, okay? Because these things help to block your chakra. When you listen to that ratchet music and all of that, it's not only programming the mind, it's blocking your chakras. And you don't want to do that because guess what? That's absorbing your energy. All right. It's absorbing your positive energy and replacing it with negative energy. So you want to try to refrain from that. Okay. Naturally Tour H says, my bathroom is my place of choice to meditate. Absolutely, beloved. That's fine. Anywhere you feel comfortable. You need to get comfortable with stillness because the sacral chakra deals with emotions and intimacy, and an unbalanced sacral chakra can benefit some stillness and mindfulness. That can help it a lot. Now, getting comfortable with the stillness allows us to connect to our emotions and process them in a healthier way. See, some people don't know how to process their emotions in a healthy way. Some people, in fact, cannot rise above emotions. That's why if you say something that certain people don't like, they just blow up and just go off and get angry. You see, a lot of times when you're trying to tell people something, especially if you're trying to tell them truth, that's the harsh truth, they get up in their feelings. When people get in their feelings, you ever notice how you're telling somebody something, they just get all caught up in their feelings, and you're like, hey, this isn't personal. This is business. Or, hey, I'm just telling you this for your own good because I care about you. But people get all up in their feelings, right? That's because they're not comfortable with their emotions and the chakras are clearly unbalanced, okay? So another thing is you can write down your thoughts and feelings on paper. Write down some positive affirmations, as I've told you numerous of times. I am stimulating or fueling my creative passions. That's what I tell myself. Because every day, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stimulate. I'm trying to be more creative. I'm trying to fuel my creative passions. There are some things that I love to do. And so every day I tell myself I'm going to do more of this, right? There's so many things that the queen likes to do, and I don't always have time in the day to do it. But I always say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. And I tell myself I'm going to make time for this. You know, I've got to get back into my poetry. I've got to get back into my spoken word and things like that. I've got to get back into my crafts, you know, because I like to paint. I like to do all sorts of things, but I'm always so busy. But sometimes you have to make time for yourself. Sometimes you have to put work aside and you have to make time to do things that relax your mind, right? Because that raises your vibrations. You want to do things that make you feel at peace, things that give you joy, right? So you want to make time for those things, and you want to stimulate and fuel your creative passions to do that. And then some of you, well, you may ask yourself, am I happy with my sex life? Now, you ask yourself this because here's the thing. The sacral chakra deals with sexuality, right? It also deals with intimacy. Now, some people are sexual without being necessarily intimate. When I say intimate, I mean like with someone you love, someone who loves you, someone who inspires, encourages, and motivates you. Isn't that the best, right? When you have someone who loves you with their whole heart, when you have someone that you have a spiritual connection to, right? Isn't that the most bliss? Isn't that the best enjoyment? So the good thing to do is if you have someone like that in your life, whether it's your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever, you can sit with them and meditate, the two of you together. It's just like in the Bible where it says, when two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. You see, it's best to pray with someone else who's close to you when you're like-minded, when you're all on one accord, when you're both on one accord, right? So it's the same thing with meditation. If you have someone that you love and care about, and they love and care about you, it is a good idea. You don't have to do it all the time, but sometimes take the time to sit quietly, hold each other's hands, right? And meditate. Meditate together. That aligns and balances the sacral chakras and makes your intimacy much more pleasurable, right? And then also, what would feeling empowered in my creativity and sexuality look like? You can ask yourself that. How would I feel if I was happy, creative, and with someone who is the same, and we are on one accord? And that makes our sexuality so much more blissful, right? You want to be with someone who's not only like-minded, but someone who's a kindred spirit. We call that person a soulmate. When you meet your soulmates, when you meet the one who has the same viewpoints as you, who is like-minded, who is spiritually in tune like you, someone who understands you, someone you can talk to and confide in, and they can do the same with you, and you can depend on them. And we're not talking about for monetary things, even though that may be the situation, but we're talking about you can depend on them to be there for you, to have your back, to lift you up when you're feeling down, to make you feel good about yourself, to tell you about your qualities and your attributes, and to also stop you and check you when you're doing the wrong thing or when you've fallen off track. When you have someone like that, it only makes you stronger. And you know, people often say that great minds think alike. I don't think that great minds always have to think alike, because sometimes great minds think differently, and then they come together and formulate strong bonds, strategies, and very good communications. And that's how they get the jobs done. That's how they accomplish their goals. Because what one person is thinking, the other person may have an easier way of doing it, right? So great minds don't always have to think alike. They can think independently of each other, but come together in one union, okay? Now, chakra balancing is a lifelong journey. Now, it won't happen overnight. You see, these things take practice. You can start out doing something simple, such as, you know, if you don't have time to meditate, or you seem to be trying to meditate, but you just can't, you know, get all of the clutter out of your brain, you can't focus or try to remove negative thoughts from your head. from your mind, just keep saying positive things to yourself. Keep speaking positive affirmations. And as you continue to say these things, you speak them into existence. Because remember, our thoughts are energy and they become reality, right? Whatsoever a man thinketh, that's so he is. So you don't want to think negative thoughts. I know we all do sometimes. We can't help it. It's okay to think negative thoughts every now and then. But here's the thing. Don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on it. You know, when something bad happens or something that I don't like happens, something doesn't go the way I want it to go, I may be upset for a minute, but then I check myself and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this into a positive. That's what you do. Make it into a positive. Figure out some way that you can actually benefit from the mistake. Don't sit there and say, oh man, I messed up. Now it's over. I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. Don't think that, because you can change anything. You are the captain of your own ship, right? You control the narrative of your life unless you foolishly allow someone else to do it for you. A lot of times also what people do is they look for someone outside of themselves to make them happy. You don't have to look for someone else to make you happy. Be happy with yourself. If you're happy with yourself and content with who you are, and even though you may have some work to do, you may have some things that you need to change, that's okay. We all do. None of us are perfect. But at the end of the day, if you're happy with yourself, then you can be happy with someone else. And if that person should leave for whatever reason and walk out of your life, well, you can still be happy and at peace because you understand and know how to independently be happy. I'm not saying being independent. I'm not saying, oh, I'm a strong Black woman, I don't need no man. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is, if you take the attitude and the initiative to make yourself happy, then another person coming into your life is just going to add to that happiness. But don't be solely dependent upon someone else making you happy. Because if you give them that power and control over you, honey, if they get tired of you and they leave, they can take all the happiness right up out of you. And that's how people become depressed, start having suicidal thoughts, all heartbroken and grief-stricken. That's how that all happens. So with that being said, I just wanted to share that information with you. Now, I know I could go on and on and on, but let me tell you something. I keep these vitamins brief, right? I don't want to overwhelm you or give you too much at once. Wokeman says, I love my own company. Absolutely, beloved. And I love my own company too. You see, what happens with some people is they become codependent on someone else, right? We all have people in our lives, you know, our mates and whoever. You may love to be with them and around them, but sometimes I love to be by myself. I love to be by myself, and I talk to myself. Sometimes I talk to myself, especially when I want expert advice. Okay? I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it is good to be able to enjoy your own company. It's good to be able to entertain yourself. It's good to be able to just be at peace with yourself, right? You know, some people become so codependent on their partner that when that person's gone too long or they don't answer your call or your text, the person instantly gets upset, gets mad. You know, how come they not answering my text? How come they're not calling me back? Calm down. It's not that serious. Calm down, right? Calm down. Breathe. Just exhale. Don't get mad. Don't get caught up in your feelings. That's the quickest way to run somebody off. It's called insecurity. Insecurity. When you are insecure, you know what's wrong? Your root chakra is not balanced. It's not aligned because the root chakra deals with security, right? So with that all being said, it deals with security and safety, okay? So you want to always try to gain control and keep control of your emotions. Wise is the person who controls their emotions but doesn't allow their emotions to control them. If you allow your emotions to control you, then guess what? Other people can push your buttons and they too can control you. And you shouldn't want to give anyone that type of control over you. With that all being said, listen, I told you numerous of times that we're engaged in spiritual warfare. And I told you the Most High gave the priest or told the priest to put on the whole armor of God. The whole armor of God was the breastplates of battle. Those breastplates contain the 12 stones representing the 12 tribes of Israel. That's us. We are Israel. Those 12 stones, which are the ones that we were all born under, your birth stones. That is why when people tell you, oh, you shouldn't be working with stones and this, that, and the third, they don't know what they're talking about. So don't listen to them. Ask your spirit. Spirit talks to us. Spirit speaks to us. I call it the Most High communicating with us. I call it also the ancestors communicating with us through spirit. When your spirit tells you something, you should pay attention. You should pay attention. Don't ignore your instincts. Don't ignore your gut feeling. Okay? Pay attention. So when spirit tells you one thing and somebody else is telling you something else, listen to your spirit. All right? Because spirit has your best interest in mind, and other people may not always have it. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, but don't forget what I said about your sacral chakra. You know, these videos and these distractions that they're putting out there for us to see, this is all trying to appeal to your lower chakras, your root chakra, your sacral chakra. And the reason they're trying to appeal to your root chakra is because, as I said, the root chakra is connected to your security, right? Your sense of self, all right? So they're trying to break down your security, trying to let you or get you to let your defenses down. Once you let your defenses down, well, you're susceptible to believe any mess that somebody tells you. They're also connected to your survival. Survival. What did I tell you on the last broadcast? Only, only the strong will survive. Only the strong will survive. The root chakra is connected to your security and your survival. So don't be distracted by the things that we see, what the devil's putting all these things out to us. Stay aligned and stay grounded. Don't forget to go out and bask in the sun. Gaze into the sun. Absorb the sun's rays into your melanin. Relax in the sun as it allows your body to produce vitamin D. Take off your shoes and walk through the grass in your yard, the grass in the park, right? Ground yourself. Hug the trees. Smell the flowers. Stop and pause and take time out to observe and pay attention to and love nature. Because, you know, we are spiritual beings living a human experience. Some of us are good spirits, but some of us are bad. The ones of us that are bad, well, we should be trying to change that. You know, there's always time to change until you're laying in the grave. So if you're doing things in your life that are detrimental to you, if you're doing things that are not good for yourself and you know this, try to work on that. Try to become more disciplined. Another thing I want to tell you this is this. Your sacral chakra also deals with addictions. You know, that's why some people say they have sexual addictions, sex addictions. You know what that is? You see, I don't think that you can actually be addicted to sex. I think you can be addicted to alcohol and drugs and things like that. I don't think you can be addicted to sex. I think people that are very promiscuous and just out here doing all types of things, I think they use that as a cop-out to make it seem like it's not their fault. Oh, I have a sex addiction. No, you don't. No, you don't. You know what they have? They have a lack and inability to be disciplined and focused. That's what that is. They lack discipline and focus. And here's the thing. If you can control what you eat, what you put in your body, what you consume, if you get to the point where you can eat a healthy diet and you don't have to worry about craving Lay's potato chips and Big Macs and drinking 40 ounces and drinking sodas and all that stuff and eating candy bars and cookies and all that, if you can refrain from dealing with those things and you can eat a healthy, balanced diet, guess what? If you can discipline yourself to eat a healthy diet, you can discipline yourself to do anything. You know why? Because what we consume, how we consume it, and how we discipline ourselves to eat healthy, That is one of the most powerful things and one of the hardest things to do. It is hard to eat healthy, isn't it? I remember when I first started trying to eat healthy, eating a plant-based diet. Oh, I would be doing just good until I had to cook for my sons. And then I'm like, let me just get a little piece of this chicken over here, right? Because I wasn't disciplined. And then I would feel guilty later. And I said, oh, why did I eat that? And I would feel so bad. I would want to go make myself throw it up. And then I said, wait a minute. This is how people get anorexia. And then I started realizing how people would, get anorexia nervosa or bulimia, right? Just from little stuff like this. So I sat down, I had a talk with myself. And I sat down and I meditated. And I practiced self-hypnosis. So I literally hypnotized myself not to want and crave and desire those things. And I started feeling so much better. And you know what happened in the process? My spiritual gifts, my third eye, my pineal gland, my ophthalmos got much more in tune, became much stronger, right? My intuitiveness raised, my levels of consciousness raised. And once I was able to do that, I could discipline myself to abstain from anything that I didn't find beneficial to my life. And that's what we all have to do. You have to get to that point. When you can get to that point, you remember, for any of you who remember that old show, Kung Fu, and remember when the sensei told him, when you can snatch the pebble from my hand, then it will be time for you to leave. Because at that point, he'd already made it. He was disciplined. So when you can snatch the pebble from your own hand, and you can let go of those things that are so worldly and the things that you don't need and are no good for you, when you can look down the road, the path, and see years down the future, years ahead, how you want to be looking, how you want to be living, right? You want to look good when you start getting older, right? You want to have smooth skin. You don't want to have all these wrinkles, right? You want to be in good health and shape good and all of that. Well, that all starts with being disciplined. So it's not too late, wherever you are in the process now, it's not too late to change and maintain. Maintain. Your body is a fine-tuned engine. And the more you give it tune-ups, the more you take care of it, the longer it will last. And the better and more beneficial it will be for you and to you. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I would like to thank you all for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents More Than Meets the Third Eye. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Please share this video. I'm trying to build the following on this channel. This is my favorite channel. It's very important. This channel enlightens, encourages, and inspires not only me, but you all as well, I hope. So with that all being said, make sure you like and share the videos and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah. Also on Instagram at divine_goddess_27, Brighton Patreon, and Melanated People at Queen Ahmadiyyah. And also on Twitter at DGoddess27. I hope to see you all. Tanya says, thank you so much, Queen. Needed this. You're welcome, beloved. You're welcome. Let me read a few of the comments before I close out. Terry says, thank you, Queen. I love this channel. Thank you, beloved, and I love you. Okay. All right. So with that all being said, Vince I Am says, thank you, Queen, for the much needed spiritual vitamins. You're welcome, beloved. Five for Black says, thank you, Queen. You're welcome. Favorable Child says, love this, Queen. Peace and many blessings to you. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, Brown John. So with that all being said, I love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this evening. I hope to see you all at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the morning for your morning wake-up call. All right, so enjoy the rest of this night. Remember to do something productive and constructive, but never destructive. And remember, I've got my third eye on you.